You know, how can you be sure your ads are actually working? It's the question in marketing, right? And the answer, it's not in those flashy campaign numbers. Nope, it's hidden in your experiment's control group. In this explainer, we're going to uncover why getting that one single thing right changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so picture this. You're looking at your latest campaign report. The numbers look great, maybe, just maybe, a little too great. And it makes you wonder, right? Can I actually trust these numbers? Is this real lift, or is there something else going on here? And you know what? That little voice in your head, it's probably right. There's that old saying, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. And in marketing analytics, 9 times out of 10, the culprit is a flawed test. More specifically, a bad control group. So to really get why this is such a huge deal, we're going to break down a classic, super easy to understand mistake. We'll just call it the in and out problem. And trust me, this shows you exactly how a mismatched experiment can completely tank your results. All right, so imagine In-N-Out, the burger place that's famously only in a few states. They decide they want to run a big ad campaign online. And of course, they need to figure out if it's actually driving people into their restaurants to buy burgers. And boom, this is where the wheels just completely fall off. Their test group is people in Southern California. Okay, makes sense. But the control group, people from all over the US. What? Of course, the California group is going to visit more stores. I mean, good luck trying to find an In-N-Out in Maine, right? These groups aren't just a little different, they're playing 2 totally different games.
And this right here brings us to the golden rule, the single most important thing to remember. For your test to mean anything, your control group and your test group have to be basically identical twins. The only thing that should be different between them, the only thing, is that one group saw your ad and the other one didn't. That's it.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do you build an experiment you can truly trust? Well, the good news is you've got options. Think of it like a toolkit. We're going to walk through the 4 main types of control groups that marketers rely on to get this right. All right, so on the list, we've got randomized controlled trials, or RCTs for short. Then there's something called a PSA holdout. After that, a really cool one called ghost bidding, and we'll wrap up with the geo holdout. Each one has its pros and cons, as you're about to see. All right, first up, the old school classic, randomized control trials. I mean, this is the OG scientific method, straight out of a science lab or a medical study. The idea is simple. You take your audience, you randomly split them in half. One group sees the ad, the other group sees nothing. Sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? Well, yeah, in theory. See, even though it's been the gold standard forever because it's supposed to get rid of bias, if that random split isn't perfect, you can end up right back at the in-and-out problem with 2 groups that are nothing alike. So yeah, it's powerful, but wow, is it easy to mess up when you're dealing with real-world digital ads. Okay, let's grab our next tool from the kit, the PSA holdout. Now this one is pretty clever because it tries to fix a big problem with the basic RCT. Instead of showing the control group absolutely nothing, you show them a completely neutral ad. Think like a public service announcement, maybe a don't text and drive campaign or something. So, what's the genius of this? Well, the big win is that both groups are having a similar experience. They're both seeing an ad. This gets rid of any weird bias where maybe one group just happens to be online more. But, and this is a big but, the downside is pretty huge. You are literally paying your own marketing money to show someone else's ad. It costs a lot, it's a ton of work to set up, and honestly, it's still not a perfect fix. Now, before we jump to the next method, I want you to think about this. It's kind of mind-blowing. In the world of digital ads, for every 5 times a brand tries to buy an ad spot, they lose the auction 4 times. That's 80%. They lose way more than they win. And that little fact is the secret sauce for our next and honestly most innovative method. And it's called ghost bidding. The logic here is, it's just brilliant. Think about it. Your test group is the people you won the auction for and showed your ad to. Simple enough. But your control group, it's the people you bid on at the exact same time for the exact same reason, but you lost the auction. They are the perfect twin. Same person, same targeting, same website, same time of day, everything is identical. And that's why, really, ghost bidding is seen as the new gold standard. It creates the most identical test and control groups you can possibly get, and it solves all those nagging problems from the other methods. So what's the catch? Well, it's all on the technical side. It's just more complicated to set up, and you need an ad platform that can actually, do it. All right, last but not least, we've got the geo holdout.
The idea here is super simple. You just pick a few cities or maybe a whole state and make them your control group. You run 0 ads there, none. Then you just compare how they did against the places where you were running ads.
Now, the appeal here is obvious. It's easy to do. It's operationally simple, which makes it super tempting. But oh man, does it come with a huge risk. I mean, think about it. Is a market like Austin, Texas really the same as Portland, Oregon? You've got different competitors, different weather, different everything. All those local differences can create massive biases that make your results totally worthless, maybe even dangerously misleading.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've seen the in-and-out problem in action, and we've gone through the 4 main tools in the marketer's toolkit. Now let's just really hammer home why this isn't just some academic exercise, why this is absolutely critical for your business.
Look, at the end of the day, it's this simple. If your control group and your test group aren't alike, your results are a lie. They're going to be inflated, you'll be patting yourself on the back for a huge success that wasn't real, and that leads to terrible decisions, and you guessed it, a whole lot of wasted money.
There's a line from the source material that just says it all, perfectly. If your experiment is set up wrong, you're not measuring your marketing lift. You're just measuring how flawed your own experiment is. All that work, all that money, just to get a number that means absolutely nothing. So, from now on, when you see a report that looks a little too good, you know exactly what to ask. Don't just get hypnotized by the big, flashy lift number. You got to challenge the setup. You have to ask the hard questions about the control group, because everything, the quality of your insights, the future of your budget, it all depends on it. So, is your control group telling you the truth, or is it just telling you what you want to hear?